Is it better to have a van or a truck for mobile detailing? In this episode, I'm going to cover the pros and cons of each and give you a bit more insight into what you should really be looking for when it comes to maybe picking or starting a mobile detailing business. And as you'll hear in this episode, it's not just about the vehicle itself. A more important part is having a reliable marketing system in place to bring in quality leads and customers into your business. And if you're interested in learning how I turn my website into a customer generating machine that works 24/7, click the link down below or go to detailclass.com and sign up for the free training. I talk a lot about my journey in terms of how I went from a struggling detailer to a thriving detailer, how I get customers basically 24/7 without doing anything because of my website, and just a lot more content. Again, go click down below or go to detailclass.com. Let's get started with this episode. First and foremost, to start off, use whatever vehicle you have, regardless of condition or age or how you perceive that vehicle yourself, because the goal is just to start. And if you're trying to wait to start your business to go and get a better van or a better truck or a better mobile rig, you're just wasting time, okay? Everyone starts from somewhere. So regardless of the condition, like I don't care if the paint's chipping, I don't care if it's not shiny and glossy and polished out, I don't care if it doesn't have a ceramic coating, I don't care if it's not wrapped. Start with what you have, because in the grand scheme of things, it's not up, especially in the beginning phase, it's not about how you start and how you look. It's about getting those first few steps to take action to get the momentum going, right? You can all as your business grows, your business will evolve, okay? You might be starting off in your 2007 Ford Mustang, and you can only fit so much. And then a few years later, you're in a Ford F-150 with a trailer. A few years later, you're in a Mercedes Sprinter van. A few years later, you're at a shop. So your business will always evolve. And if you're stuck on, well, do I get a van, a truck? Oh, I only have a Ford Mustang. Start with what you have. You don't want to go out and get a loan right now. You don't want to go out and wait and save $7, $10, $15, $20,000 for a vehicle. You don't need to go and add a new commercial auto insurance to your van. You don't need to go and get it. You are already complicating the process if you're trying to figure out, oh, should I go get a new van or truck? Trust me, I've gone through that same process where you think oh no, but I won't be perceived as professional. Oh no, that'll really help me grow my business. Oh no, I really do need that setup because that'll make me a lot more efficient. All those things can be true, but that doesn't mean you have to go and do that right now. Go start with what you have. Stop this episode right now. Go get in your car and go get a customer in your Ford Mustang. That's how simple it has to be. So, other than that, you need to think about the services that you're going to offer, right? Because and if you're just getting started, keep things simple. You're not going to go and do commercial carpet cleaning at, businesses or residential carpet cleaning when you have a Ford Mustang. I know that didn't make sense, but that's you can offer the most basic services when you're first getting started in whatever van or truck that you have. Okay. So yes, you have more space in a Mercedes Sprinter van than you do if you're in a, Ford Ranger, right? But if you really think about the services you're going to offer and the tools and products that you need to fulfill those services, you don't need that much space anyways. There are so many detailers now on internet that I've talked to that have full mobile rig setups with a pressure washer, with a water tank, with a hose reel, in a Jeep Wrangler, in a Ford Mustang, right? In these small, compact size vehicles. If you have the proactive mindset to maximize your space and to do the most you can with what you have, you can make it work. If you just go on YouTube and type in Mustang mobile rig or mobile detailing rigs, you're going to find all sorts of setups. Yes, some are nicer than others. Some have better equipment than others. Some you can put more, there's more space so you can add more. You will always find pros and cons to everything. But you don't need to go and wait and think and think that oh, that truck is a solution. Oh, that van is the solution. Because let me tell you, it's not going to solve anything for you. If you don't have customers right now and you're not making money right now, the new truck or the new van or the other vehicle you want to get doesn't solve that issue. If you go get a shop right now, it doesn't solve the issue that you don't have customers or you're not making money. The truck, the van, the shop is just like a feature to your business, but it's not the solution. Meaning you can have a Ford Mustang as a mobile rig and your schedule can be fully booked out, making $500 a day with whatever services you offer out of your Ford Mustang. You can also have a 2023 Mercedes Sprinter van and be completely broke and in debt, right? So the form of transit that you get is not a solution to your business, right? Although you might make it seem like that in your head. You're like, oh no, but like it'd be so much more professional. I'd feel a lot more motivated. Oh, it'd be so cool. That doesn't bring you more customers. Like with our mobile rig, in my 2009 HHR panel and in our 2015 Ram ProMaster, for the HHR panel, I did have that wrapped for a few, I think maybe like a year, and then I took it off. But our Ram ProMaster, our 2015 Ram ProMaster, we never got that wrapped. There was for 6 months, there was a decal on the side, but it wasn't like that professional, and like it wasn't like a full wrap. And the reason why I deliberately did not choose a wrap was just because like I wanted to show other detailers that like even if you don't have a wrapped van, you can still book out your schedule. So for us, we never got any customers from people looking at our mobile van and giving us a call, right? That never happened because we didn't do that. Like there was nothing for them to look at. Like on the passenger side of the vehicle, it was just a blank white van. On the driver's side vehicle, there was a magnetic decal, but like it wasn't like this huge sign. It was like, I couldn't tell you the measurements, but like it wasn't like, oh wow, look at that signage. It wasn't like nothing like that. Yet for us, we were our schedule was fully booked out, right? We have 2, 3, 4 customers a day. Why is that? Is because we focus on other marketing systems that are going to bring in high quality leads and customers to our business. So for us, the van. Again, the van is not a solution. It was just a feature. A feature for us in terms of, oh yes, we have this van. But it wasn't like, oh, this van solves our problem of getting more customers. It's not that. It was this van gets us from point A to point B as mobile detailers. It's a form of transportation. It wasn't a solution to get more customers and to grow our business, right? Obviously, it grew our business because we're able to fit more stuff and we can do more customers. Like in that regard, obviously, but it doesn't bring in paying customers. It's never been a thing that is done for us. And that was a deliberate decision to me that I made. That way, when I have detailers talk to me about like, oh, well, I feel like I really need to get it wrapped. And, oh, if this wrap's going to cost $5,000, should I do it? I wanted to be able to say like, hey, look, we never wrapped our van. Our schedule was still fully booked out. And it was not something that we ever relied on. Now, again, on branding, on professionalism, yes, getting your van wrapped, getting your truck wrapped is fantastic. But there's a time and place for that. And the time and place is not when you're first getting started and you haven't made your first $10,000 and they're quoting you for a wrap that's $3,000 to $5,000. That's not where you think about that, let alone you thinking about purchasing a van or a truck to get your business started, let alone you're also going to go in debt and get a loan on that to start your business, which means you also have to go get commercial auto insurance to start that business, right? Like, you are adding so many layers of financial burden to you before you've made your first, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. It's a bit too premature. So you can keep things very basic. Now, if we go into the actual, okay, so which one is better, a van or a truck? For me personally, I'm going to say, and again, they both have their pros and cons, right? If you have a truck right now, start with the truck because you have the truck already. Now, if you are looking to like purchase a van or whatever, I will always say for the most part is a van. Now, there's different vans versus different trucks. Yes. But generally speaking, I'm going to say a van is better than a truck for mobile detailing. So a few reasons is, and it depends on the van that you get. Like if you get, again, like if you get if you get something like that, like we had a Ram ProMaster, except the high top version and then the extended version, like it's longer, that's a different than if you get like a non-extended low top version, you know? So what a van is, it's more secure in terms of your tools and products. You can fit more because you can put things vertically instead of in your truck. It's just like the bed itself. And again, even on the bed, like, are you going to haul a trailer? Because that's also another big component. For me personally, I would never recommend hauling a trailer. Again, I'm not against it, but if you're hauling a trailer, sometimes getting into tight neighborhoods or tight back areas or tight apartments, it makes it so much more cumbersome to drive around certain parts of the city if you are also hauling a trailer behind you, let alone if you're working in a parking lot or an apartment complex and stuff, and like there's limited space in the parking lot to where like you don't really have the space to fit your truck and trailer. So maybe you got to move the car somewhere else a bit further, and it's just a bit of a nuance. So I would recommend a van over a truck. Now, again, if you're gonna if it's just a truck and no trailer, that's pretty easy to maneuver as well. Obviously, if you're trying to keep it like under your bed cover, you're limited on what you can use. If you're gonna put a camper on it, then you have a bit more flexibility on like how you stack it up. So there's so many variations of what you can build out. Let me make sure that this is okay. Yeah, there's so many variations of the type of van or truck that you can have that I'm not trying to paint anything to one picture in terms of like this is the best answer or this is the best solution, because it comes down to like how you're planning it and like what your goals are, and again, budget, goals, and like what you want to do with it. Like you can take your truck or van to one of those mobile detailing places where they build out rigs, and you can get, whichever setup fully custom made and a very professional setup, regardless of which one you have. Now, as your business grows and you make more money, you can do more things to it. But honestly, like when you're first getting started, you don't need this massive, crazy setup where you're spending I wouldn't recommend you go and get a loan or go in debt or heavy debt getting your mobile rig set up, right? Because in my 2009 HHR panel, right, I didn't have, I had no, there was no water tank. I never carried a water tank in my HHR panel. I sometimes very sparingly would take a pressure washer. I never had a pressure washer reel. I didn't have an air compressor. I had no air compressor reel. Yet at that time by myself, from 2015 to 2017, I was fully booked out with 1-2 jobs a day by myself. And that was the setup. Like when I got the 2009 HHR panel, it wasn't like, oh my God, I have so much more space now and I can fit so many things. Because I first started off with my 2003 Toyota Matrix XRS. So in terms of space-wise, they were both kind of equally the same. The difference was that the HHR panel was like, well, my Matrix was like kind of broken down and like it looked really unprofessional, and like there was 2 sets of colors on my wheels and it was lowered, and just that wasn't good. And so with the HHR panel, like I didn't gain quadruple the space from my Matrix. So I still have to be very limited with what I carried. But even when I was limited with what I was carrying in that small space, I could still carry everything that I needed, right? Like I've always said this, where everyone else has a better mobile setup than what we did. All right, in my HHR panel and the Ram ProMaster, in the 2015 Ram ProMaster, it wasn't the prettiest looking thing. Like it wasn't like super fancy with diamond plating and the shelves are colored black and color matching this and like bottle holders there. Like it was nothing like that. But again, our schedule was fully booked out, and it's so easy to lose track of that. Of like, hey, your number one goal is to have a booked out schedule and make money. If it's not directly correlated to that goal, you're kind of just wasting your time and money. Again, everything has its place and time. If you want a professional looking van that's wrapped, that has diamond plating everything, and that's color matched everything on the inside, that is something great. It'll look very professional. It's great for branding. But that does not make or break your business if you don't have any of that. What makes or break your business is not having customers on your schedule. It's not getting paid by customers. It's not having your phone ring every single day. It's not getting new leads into your business on a daily basis. That's what kills your business. Whether you're arriving in a 2019 Ford Mustang, a '07 Mustang, a 2015 Ram ProMaster, a 2024 Mercedes Sprinter van, or a 2002 Ford Ranger, you can still get the job done. You can still carry your tools and products in that vehicle to your customer's location. Like, don't lose track of what's the main thing. So all in all, if you are looking at it, a van is fantastic to me because everything is enclosed. You don't have to really, depending on your truck setup, you don't have to worry about the weather in the van because obviously it's all enclosed. You can really customize it in terms of like, using the van walls and stacking things vertically. Whereas with the truck, if you're trying to keep it inside the truck bed itself and you want to cover it, you're a lot more limited on space in terms of what you can fit, especially if you want to have that the bed cover over to hide everything. But if that's what you have right now, and that's what you can work with, and like let's say you have a Toyota Tundra, right? I mean, you can use the rear seats to store your towels and your chemicals and maybe your polishers, and in the back of the bed you can put a pressure washer reel, a air hose reel, the air compressor, like a 50 gallon water tank. Like you can, and like that's the cool thing about everyone's mobile rig is that it's going to be slightly different, whether it's in the size, whether it's in the setup, whether it's how big the pressure washer is or the water tank is. Like you can customize everything to fit your needs. Again, there are mobile rigs out there and Mustangs and Jeep Wranglers, these small vehicles that have water tanks and pressure washer reels and air hoses and air hose reels. Like I never got to that point with my smaller vehicle, with my HHR panel. But there's plenty of examples of people doing that, and there's plenty of examples of detailers who have a small vehicle, but don't have the fancy but don't have the pressure washer reel and the pressure washer and the water tank, and they're still getting it done as well, right? So if you can take anything away from this episode, is that no matter what you have, start with that. Because that's going to be the best answer, is just starting. Now, when you go in further into your business, yes, then you can really see and say, okay, like for instance, like the reason why I wouldn't get a truck and trailer now is because I've been mobile detailing for so long that I know that, okay, there's been so many cases where if we were if we were driving a truck and a trailer, it would be at least 10 times more difficult to get around these streets, to get into a customer's driveway, to go around the apartment, or to work in a parking lot. So based on my experience, I know like, yeah, I don't want the trailer, right? That's going to happen with you, where if you're in your Ford Mustang and you're driving around, you'll just start to really, and this is very specific in where you live too. Like, is it in the city, in rural areas, and in like suburban areas? Is it like, you'll figure out what you need based on when you're actually driving around and you're dealing with different locations, right? So I knew like, yeah, we could not haul a truck, or we can't drive a truck and trailer because like that would put us in so many bad situations. Like with our Ram ProMaster, we don't have it anymore, but when we had it, the only two things we couldn't do is we could no longer drive into parking garages, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a business, a parking garage. We can no longer go into parking garages because our height was too high. Even though we had a low profile van, it was still pretty tall, and the high top vans were like really tall. So anyway, we did have the low profile option, but we were still too tall to make clearance on all the garages. And then two, we couldn't go through drive-throughs because of the clearance issue, right? Aside from that, you could basically drive the van like a regular vehicle, right? And that's very, very convenient. Now, if you're just driving the truck by itself, nothing changes. You can basically go into every parking garage, every drive-through. You can go in because it's just a regular truck. Now, a truck and a trailer, now you've added a lot of complexity to it in terms of like where you can fit and like what you have to look for, right? Because if you're a mobile detailer and you're going to an apartment complex, you not only have to worry about like, oh, like, is there enough parking space? Is there going to be, if you need water and power, like, is there going to be water? Is there going to be power? But if you're bringing a truck and trailer with you, well, then now you have to worry about like, oh, do I fit there? Can I maneuver around there? Oh, like I have to bring that car all the way over here because there's more spaces all the way in the back and I wouldn't fit over there. Right? So like, there's a lot of things. But again, like you won't know any of this until you actually start taking action. Right? And yeah, like you might buy a trailer, hook it up to your truck, and 6 months in, you might be like, yeah, man, like this is just, it's too cumbersome. It's too difficult. I can't get anywhere. I can't park anywhere. And you'll switch it up. Like that's just the way things go. So hopefully you learned something. hopefully you can apply some of this into your business. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the episode right there, kind of keep it short for you. Again, if you want to learn how to turn your website into a customer generating machine where it works 24/7 for you, you can go to detailclass.com or just click the link down below. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on the next one.